Why did President Bola Tinubu make that decision? TVC's Uzona Onoye is back with an analysis on the update. The last time you did this, you were talking about the constitutional pathway to impeachment. I'm not sure you saw this coming.
I didn't see it coming because we were all focusing on what the State House of Assembly was doing at the time, and nobody knew what was happening the next morning. But by the on Tuesday morning, when stories began to come in about the explosion at the pipeline, most reasonable people will begin to think, oh, something else is about to happen. But since then, quite a lot has happened. And the new sole administrator has already been sworn in by the president. And the argument has continued on whether or not the president has the power to remove a sitting governor and suspend the House of Assembly. People have referred to what the Constitution provides as the only way to remove a governor through impeachment, which the House of Assembly began the day before the explosion, and then through the issue of incapacitation when the governor or the deputy or both are considered to be incapacitated, ill health, or whatever may be the reason, and then the House of Assembly begins the process again of removing them. And then the last one is death. But however, the president has a duty to protect the nation, and I think that the president deserves to be commended for taking that decisive step when explosions, pipelines were being bombed and exploded. If the president has the information that these incidents were not just mere accidents and kept quiet and waited, nobody knows how many more pipelines would have been exploded by now. But somebody may begin to ask, what is it even about pipeline explosion? I'll talk you through a few things about it for us to understand it. Nigeria's crude oil production, let's go to this, per barrel, as at today, is 1.8 million barrels per day, all right? It rose from 1.4 million in 2024, and it was about 900,000 the year before then. And then when this president came in, they walked through it and all of the processes and bringing it to this. The estimate for 2025 is 2.1 million. Now, imagine that that incident continued, where we could have been, but I'll lead you to that shortly. But first, let's look at what we require on a daily basis in terms of crude oil. Crude oil, we have an outstanding commitment of 272,500 barrels per day. This figure may not be accurate because no one actually knows the content of that deal between the NNPC and the former president of Nigeria, that they use crude to borrow money. So this is an estimation of what it could be. And then if Nigerian authorities decide to provide crude oil, all that will be required by Dangote refinery, they will be needing 650,000 barrels per day. And then other refineries that are functional, Port Harcourt refinery and Warri, will be needing 210,000 and 125,000 barrels per day. All of this will be giving us 1.2 to 1.3 million requirements every day. Now, remember our production capacity is about 1.8, so we have an excess of about 500,000 barrels pending to sell and make all our foreign exchange. Imagine that. And then Tuesday, one pipeline goes off that has the capacity of transporting 450,000 barrels a day. And another one follows. We don't have the accurate figure about this, the capacity of this. But let's even say that it's not as much as this, but you now see what the government, what Nigerian as a nation will be losing just because of this incident.
Assuming that that was indeed an attack on the pipelines.
Well, we don't have any other fact apart from that. What is available to us is that there was an attack on the pipeline. The information from all the sources suggests to that. And if the president didn't act, by now more pipelines may have gone off.
And then we'll be far away from the 2025 target.
The distance will be, it's not just being far away, it's that the economy stands to be threatened to collapse because it will be huge. The impact will be huge on Nigerian people and on the economy. And so that does not appear, right now, there's no reasonable way that the president would have dealt with it. The argument is whether it is proper to remove an elected governor. And the next question would have been, did the Constitution in Section 305 envisage that when there will be need for state of emergency, that the key actors there will be the same people that are meant to protect that constitution. The people that drafted the constitution may not have envisaged that. And so when emergency period, critical period like this come up, there may not be much left in the hands of the president than to do what he did. But the next question is there any guarantee that state of emergency will restore peace in Rivers State? And the answer is a bit not certain, because a lot of people believe that the real solution in Rivers State is still on the political table.
The good thing is that we spoke with Uche Okoro earlier, our senior correspondent there, who mentioned that unlike what was envisaged, there were no protests, there were no, violent reaction to the president's decision. So perhaps it's looking better than some have, mentioned that.
It's actually early. It's actually early to come to that conclusion, quite early. But everybody who understands this and who has the interest of Rivers State and Nigeria at large on mind should encourage the key players there, the people on the ground there, and the man that plays the drum from the bush, that some guys are dancing on the streets in Rivers State. Everybody come around the political table and find a solution to this urgently. Enough of the debate whether or not the president should do what he had done. There is no two ways about it, and the options seem very, very slim.
One more hurdle to cross for Mr. President. He needs 2/3 majority in the National Assembly latest tomorrow. How do you think the lawmakers will decide?
There will be dissent. There will be disagreements, but at the end of the day, there will be more than 2/3 that will be voting for that state of emergency. Because when you think of what are the options, if we don't go this way, what are the possible options that will give us peace? Remember that if this didn't happen, by now, the House of Assembly may have gone a step further in impeaching, carrying out the process of impeaching the governor. If the governor was impeached by the House of Assembly, are we likely going to have peace in Rivers? So all of this, maybe at the end of the day, someone said that at the end of the day, the Governor Fubara will be grateful to the president for doing this.
Good place to leave it. The good thing is also that the suspended governor is speaking peace. He's asked the people of Rivers to be calm and to maintain peace and order. Interesting days ahead. Uzana Onoye, thank you for the analysis. My pleasure.